Okay, let's call the meeting to order at 8:30, 8:34. So I choose the rules. This meeting will be held in person or virtual. Anyone joining this meeting virtually will remain on mute except when speaking or voting, and generally keeping video themselves turned on during the meeting. If anyone joining virtually creates an audio or video disruption, they will be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of the chairperson running the meeting. The first order is to approve the March 8th fiscal policy minutes. Do I have a motion to accept?
Yeah.
Ernie? Mark, second it. Any discussions, changes, revisions? Yeah, all in favor? Aye. Correspondence, Mark brought this, we'll just talk about it, the legislation about the governor signing the budget tax package. Old business. So I did a review of the 22-23 budget. Basically, I have a quick review right now. The town's revenue is a surplus of about $400,000. There's a lot of that has to do with the property tax collection is probably about 98–99%. We got a municipal revenue sharing grant. We did not anticipate of about $106,000. Interest has definitely come back and restored. Right now, as of the end of April, we have a posting of more than $60,000 surplus in interest. The special ed grant came in with an additional $45,000. And then some things like the building permits, land use, and real estate, again, extra $30,000. So the town did very well this year so far in revenues.
So with all those, you think we have about 400?
It may adjust a little bit as I get down to the, but right now, definitely around 400.
What did we put in the budget? Do you remember?
The budget was,
2045?
we put, total budget was like 17.8, and right now we're at 18.2.
No, I mean the expected variance.
Expect variance, probably like 200 or 300. I can't quite remember, I'll have to look at that. As for the Board of Selectmen expenditure budget, there's still a few payrolls. Those are the major expenditures that need to be processed and posted, which could be about $200,000. I'm looking at, again, another maybe at least $500,000 surplus, but again, there's a lot of things not posted yet, so that number's definitely going to change. Contingency is currently with a surplus of $51,000, but we have budget transfers that need to be posted. There's a number of lines that are over budget right now. One of them, I think, is commercial insurance, but I think that has to do with the cyber policy. So, but then you looked at the trooper line, and because of the change in benefit rate, it's $30,000 that's coming back. So there's a lot of analysis that has to be done. We still have a few weeks of checks to process, which are not in these numbers. So again, we're probably gonna come back with a surplus with the town, so we're in good shape. Now to go to the school. I will pass this around. This is right now the anticipated, without going through everything. Ed's budget is very tight this year. Right now, I'm seeing about a $21,000 deficit. And that's without posting this week's payroll. There's gonna be another payroll this year. There are bills coming in. We just got a small special ed adjustment from Smith that wasn't anticipated. It's only like less than $3,000, but it's more money that wasn't anticipated. I tried to put in a projection of what still needs to be paid as well. So either way, I do need to finish going through the encumbrances. There are some that can be closed, which might cover some of this deficit. But I think we need to anticipate possibly going to the non-lapsing account for some coverage. There was a student that came in during the year for special ed that was not anticipated in the budget. We also had a couple of hirings of some paras that were not anticipated, which more than cover this deficit. So the thought was that we may hold a special board of ed meeting to discuss the budget and put in requests for non-lapsing account by next week. The other option is waiting until July when I confirm up the numbers a little more.
What's the downside of waiting?
The downside, it's just, that it's not done before June 30th, it'll just be done as an end of year fix, which we do in July. But it has to be done before August 1st so that I can basically close out the year. So we have a couple options here. I thought, oh, last week I think I said oh, definitely, but now I'm looking at some encumbrances, there could be things. But again, there's some other bills I may not know that's coming in yet. So we'll wait and see, or we can do an allocation from the non-lapsing account to cover it.
Well, what if you did an allocation, but then two bills pop out of nowhere and now you still are short?
Yes, that's a risk we're taking.
Okay.
So right now, I think the tuition for that one student is $60,000. We're looking at the two paras that were hired. Their salaries could be anywhere from 25 to 30,000 a piece. If we go that route, the transportation for that one student was about 30,000, but there's still another bill coming in for that student. So
When did that student come on board?
October.
Okay, and the pairs of 30,000 and 20, whatever they are, when were they hired? by?
So one was in October and one was at the beginning of the school year.
When?
One at the beginning of the school year and one was around October.
Pretty much both.
So,
That's a lot of staff. That's a lot of staff salary, $250,000 over.
so there was some turnover last year. Unfortunately, with the market the way it is, they ended up replacing those people with top step. The other was with the replacement of personnel. A lot of them took the insurance, which was not anticipated because we had people left and they might have been single or whatever, but the replacements were more families. So that hit the board then. Now, at the end of the year, when we first looked at it, we said, oh, we'll be able to cover, we have other lines, we'll just not do certain purchases and stuff like that. But as the year went along and other things came up, like I said, a tight budget. The fuel prices were another issue because we hadn't been locked in and that's still, I think there could be another delivery of oil and diesel this year because part of our contract is to top off all the tanks. So I need to call them to say, did you already top off or is there another delivery this month? Because they said they would do it between May and June. So, and that goes for the town too. So we may be doing transfers on the town side for fuel because there's an anticipation that they're going to do another a top off. So the town is not so bad, we used to transfer, but the school is tight. I do need to put in, I think, one more grant. That money is coming in, so that might help this as well. So like I said, the numbers are in flux right now, so it's whether we want to plan this for next week or do we want to plan this in July when there's more firm numbers.
Or if there's no reason to rush.
Wait,
Sure. That's what I'm trying to get out of the fact that reading.
How much do we have in our non-lapsing fund for the school? 400,000?
300.
300,000?
Yep. The five pack.
It sounds like it's gonna take it all.
No. I think what I would recommend is that we take enough to at least cover the deficit or cover at least one of the items, just to say that we used it for I don't want to do a portion on tuition. I think we probably should do the whole,
Well, wait a minute,
or we could do a portion of tuition too.
huh? I'm confused. We're talking, what, 20,000 that might grow to what?
That's the unknown right now. Like I said, I anticipated a bunch of expenditures coming in already, so it could grow. You know, like I said, it depends if other bills come in that I have not anticipated. So,
But nothing big.
no, I don't think there's not a student coming in today and there's gonna cost us 10,000,
Yeah.
6,000 tomorrow, because they're gonna be here for one day.
So we might be talking 30.
Yeah, so
At
it could change once I go through all the encumbrances and get this posted. It could go down to 0, but I just want to let everybody know that there is an anticipation that the Board of Ed could come back to town. The other option is we do a quick town meeting and just take it out of fund balance and save the non-lapsing account, because say it ends up being only 10,000. We do a town meeting and cover it that way, so,
Simpler to go non-lapsing.
yeah, because you can, because 5-pack. I don't think the board is selecting us to approve it, does it? No, it goes right to 5-pack. So that would be the 3rd week of July, and I should be able to have pretty much most of the bills all taken care of by then. So does it sound, everybody's agreeable, let's just wait till July?
I'd rather have a final number,
Okay,
Yeah.
so smack once instead of beating around a lot.
okay, I agree. Like I said, I went through this last night, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought, but, again, it's more, the bigs is, there are some payroll items that, like substitute teachers. I have an idea of this week's payroll, but there's gonna be still some for in the next payroll, so that tends to be what possibly, it could be high, could be low, depending on what happened this week, so. And then, and there were some staff who are out, so we have special subs coming in this week, so. All right, so that's my good news, other than all the grant money has come in.
Jesus, what's the bad news gonna look like?
Yeah, so that's it. Any questions on that, other than,
You haven't seen any roll-ups from now that budget is passed of what exactly we'll be getting next year in the different categories
of
from CCM or,
just what, George Raphael sent out, that we're getting 70,000 less in ECS, but everything else,
Did we already anticipate that?
no, because that came out in June or May or June.
Okay, so that'll affect this also?
No, that's next year.
next year.
We're coming next year, so I don't think that's gonna be too bad. The other thing is that the ECS, but I think we just got something, yeah, so I think it should be fine as long as final special ed costs do not come in lower than anticipated this year, because if it does, the state will take it out of the ECS grant. So this year we got extra, so we'll see what happens.
And it looks like next year it's not going down.
No, I think they're trying to keep it flat, going back to whatever we got this year, so ECS seems to change every year anyway. I don't think we're gonna get the municipal revenue share grant again. I don't know if that was a one-time deal, but as long as Carol keeps her collection rate up, we should be fine.
That-
Pressure on her.
I still haven't figured out what, if they've just renamed it. Remember we had all that money shifting? in
So it went
different-
from municipal stabilization to supplemental municipal revenue share, so.
Right,
I haven't heard back. I sent an email to George to say what's the difference between the two, because it's the same amount.
but this document's saying that municipal revenue sharing fund is at 568 million. And then it breaks down how they're gonna spend it, but I don't know how that relates to us. Those are just totals.
Yes, the municipal revenue share, they didn't say we're getting it, we're only getting the supplemental, which is a small amount, so municipal revenue share this year was over 100, the supplemental was like 26. So when they did the projection for us, it was just for 26 and not the bigger amount, so I don't know if that's based on calculation or what, so we'll see. Any other questions on budget? Okay, then we have a next legislative update, so Mark?
Well, we've been basically talking about and trying to figure out what this means to Columbia, all these total dollars that have been. I guess the good news is they didn't bond everything, some of it, like the town aid and road, the 60 million for tar came out of general fund instead of a bond package. And right now we're using tar to pay for
Road resurfacing.
Whitney.
Whitney, yep.
Whitney. Once those bids come in.
Yeah, so there has been some use towards the Whitney drainage project, so whatever's left in tar, we'll apply that or whatever road resurfacing projects till we. Because I know we had a balance carried forward and now we should be using up most of it this year into next year, so. And I think the tar money is staying pretty steady, so.
Yeah, I haven't seen that going down.
No, I think usually it's a couple $100. Yeah, I think one of the questions I had about the legislation is with the school, with the air quality, are we still doing the silly question, the flag thing or something that has to?
We're obligated to do that next year,
To do what?
beginning next year.
Fly the air quality
Flags?
flags, warning flags,
Right.
which they did at military bases throughout the world forever. So, you know,
So you
Yeah.
just you get an email every day.
yeah, fly the flag. Like last week when all the smoke was here, you didn't send them outdoors for recess, did you?
Correct, right, we help.
You know,
we
so
help them
the parents go, why? Well, there's the flag,
Right.
flag.
Okay.
So we're.
Okay.
flag
That's all it is.
We need new flag.
in. We have to figure that out. Like
And put on a little, sign on the,
What was the question?
where do you put the
Where do we
flag?
put the flag?
I'm just
You
curious.
can put it out there in the front next to the digital sign out there.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm used to it. They put it on every time you listen to the weather in the morning, they talk about the air quality for the day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hazy and this and that, and
And it really
it's easy.
mainly affects people with bronchial issues and
Asthma.
asthma.
It affects the children.
It'll be interesting to see, because right now, other than the smoke from last week, we don't really ever get calls regarding whether we're outside or inside because of air quality. So, you know, if it happens to be particularly humid or there's a lot of pollen, whatever, and so there's a red flag flying out, it'll be interesting if we do get phone calls asking.
It'll be more about temperature.
Yeah.
Because I think you'll have to fly temperature over 85 or 90 degrees. It's really, you know, honestly, it's not, we educate the town, even seniors driving through the town are gonna look at it and go, oh, you know, it's an air temperature warning today, we're staying inside.
What about, did any legislation pass on air handling with schools? Did they actually fine it? I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I haven't seen the.
Oh, about the
final-
gym? You mean about the gym?
Well, that's just
Everything, the air
temperature.
purification and, you know.
Because I heard there's another round of grants that are
Yes.
opening up in August,
Correct.
that we're trying to gear
Are
up.
we resubmitting our numbers to more updated?
Well, right now, we're sending out, the school building committee came up with more questions for the 3 finalists that we're gonna send out to them today. And the question is, how fast tracked are we gonna try to hire a engineering firm so they have time to design a solution, get a bid spec, and be ready for August? Now, I don't know if August means you have 6 months.
Right.
I'm hoping there'll be a bigger window to put your application in.
Yeah, they hadn't announced that. They just said the system's opening up in August.
Right.
So,
Because
you know,
we're not gonna have numbers in August. I would pretty much guarantee that.
Yeah, it certainly puts us in a much more advantageous position going into the next round, having done that background work.
Right,
So hopefully we're more, more likely to get the grants,
so
particularly since we're reapplying as opposed to first time.
yeah, we were trying to get it so we could actually hire someone for July. If we can, that's our goal, and get them going. So we can start getting answers to all this. What are we gonna do with the school for air?
yeah, I assume it's gonna be more of the whole building this time, or just,
Well, it needs to be the whole building, but it has to be broken into doable pieces.
yes.
Because I think logistically, unless they tell us otherwise, we can't in one summer do the whole building. I wouldn't imagine. But that's why we're hiring someone to figure it out. And that was one of the questions. How do we break this into like a 2-year project?
So the electrical upgrade is on hold until we get.
No, we're going to do electrical upgrade eventually, but it hasn't been designed based upon the need that they determine is needed.
If we're talking about the whole school, we're talking about maybe starting spring of next year. You better start talking about how we're gonna finance.
Correct, that's why we have to get a number of what the whole thing is and how long do we have it, and then we have to bring in bond counsel and actually look at short-term financing and also what else, if you do want a bond, what else do we want? Other big ticket items do you want to consider, like the parking lot? Eventually that is gonna have to be done.
Starting to get hives. You talk about bonds. Just
Well,
continue.
why don't we just short-term finance it and accelerate the
We can look
payback?
at that community block thing again. We got time to kind of look at it. and-
See what our options are.
And that would, the community block grant, something Marie and I had looked at last year. It's like a bond, but it's a loan, more like a grant loan. And it's again, like, could be up to 20 years, but you can pay it off early. It's low interest, it's quicker to get.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about.
Well, and that's good. When our finances show how they are, people are more apt to go, you know what, they're a good bet.
Yeah, so, and then there's pretty much, when I talked to them, they said the HVAC system would probably qualify. So it's just, so say we have money in the general fund, we can, say we go for the full loan, we have help the general fund 1 year, we can just say, hey, let's take some of that and put it down as a payment. So, and they said there's no penalties if you pay it off early, unlike a bond, you're locked, you have to do the whole 20 years. I know we tried to look at that with other bonds when Jonathan was here, and they just said, you can't do that. So,
Yeah, all right.
so there's other financing available that you can probably look at.
Well, Jonathan gives his best to everybody. I saw him at a CROG meeting. He's now the Glastonbury town manager.
I heard.
We're still waiting to hear on the security grant. Where it looks like on the website, it indicates that they have a decision by August. Might be earlier than that, but might be that long. That would bring about 98,000 to the town.
So what is that for again?
This was for this year's project, completing the installation of speakers for announcements like lockdown announcements, that sort of thing. And then we went back and are asking for reimbursement for some previous projects with cameras, walkie-talkies, a number of
Yeah,
security.
we have 40-something cameras over there now.
At least, yeah.
Pretty soon you're gonna be asking for cameras on the teachers.
So I hope not.
If you're hiring me as vice principal, I'm sure I could shake a few things up. And then the kids marching in the hallways, and the parents too. I don't care. Record that. Okay,
Okay, is there any other items that anybody wants to discuss this morning? No, no.
No,
Just for the finance update, Cindy is the new payroll, specialist. She's been here a couple weeks. She's doing a lot of training, getting her on board. It's a process, but, you know, she's starting to get the hang of things, so, I think by the end of the summer, I think she'll be pretty much more independent, but, she's a pleasure to work with, and, glad she's on board. And other things that are coming up is just trying to firm up some audit dates, for this year and get ready for year end and the transfers and moving on to the new fiscal year. So, and then if there's no other comment or anything, we have our next meeting July 12th. Hopefully have a more of an update on the year-end numbers and,
is it? Why don't we make that tentative, and if we have to move 2 weeks or something for your numbers and everything?
for fiscal policy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, well, usually I send an email, if you want to cancel or postpone, so,
Okay,
we should have most of the numbers in hopefully by then. If not, it goes up to 5 which is a week later, so if we have to shift a little and do it all the same day, we can do that too. So motion to adjourn? Ernie, second. Mark? Okay, have a great day.
9 o'clock.